Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. Playing in the hardcore Legacy League as a solo self-found Ice Shot Deadeye. And last episode I recorded, which actually went live 2 episodes ago. So that was a theory crafting episode, episode number 34. And in that I made a couple of changes to the skill tree after just going over things and looking at what the priorities were. So one of the things is we picked up Assassination pretty early because it's really darn potent. We went for Fury Bolts down here because it is also really darn useful. It's actually pretty powerful. Down here for lethality, we went from the 1 node to the 2 node version to once again increase our damage. And we unspec'd all the frenzy charges because frenzy charges are one of the worst ways to scale damage on this build. The other nodes are way better. So my current goal is to grab Heartseeker. After that, Flash Freeze is going to be up on the menu. And after that we have, I think it was Forces of Nature, just glancing over at the list. Yes, it's Forces of Nature. It's going to be a 4-pointer to grab this, but it's pretty darn good. So after the theory crafting episode went live, I got a couple of really nice pointers from Jazzy J, who mentioned that now that I'm going for Fury Bolts, why not pick these 2 small nodes down here and drop the travel nodes? Which of course is a great idea. Dex doesn't really do much for you, and more damage, well, it's more damage. And also there's a little bit of projectile speed in there, which really makes a build feel, feels faster, even though you don't actually shoot faster. Another thing which was a little bit more convoluted is to drop the piercing shots nodes from the skill tree and actually replace them with this lovely pierce gem. And no, that's gonna just trade in 50% chance to pierce from the tree for 50% chance to pierce from the gem. So that's gonna be roughly the same. We do get a 18% more projectile damage modifier and a little bit of increased projectile damage from the quality here. Which so we're gonna exchange for the 8% projectile damage, 8% projectile damage. So the 16% increased damage, which we're gonna trade in for 18% more, so that's actually quite a bonus. We will be giving up 1 point for that, and that is actually going to be the increased critical strike support. But because we save ourselves 4 points, we can invest those in other nodes. So what we're gonna grab is what I was gonna go for anyway, that's Heartseeker, so this will increase our crit chance, crit multiplier. And after that, Flash Freeze, because that was the next most efficient node to go for. So in order to actually achieve all of this, I've been doing the Feathered Pool quests in order to actually get myself some refund points. So here, let's get going. So we refund those, that gets us 4 points. Then it is useful to complete Fury Bolts first, because by getting these 2 points, we can then refund the travel nodes over here. So that gets us back to 4 points, and then we can actually start spending them. So first one was going to complete Heartseeker, and then after that we're going to go for Flash Freeze. And that really umps up our damage. So next up is going to be to swap some links around. We want the increased crits out for now. Instead we grab the Pierce and then weapon elemental damage, and then we just want some separate nodes for these 2. So 2 red, 4 green is what we want on our bow now without the blue. So let's see if we can get lucky here. And we got lucky. So that is nice. The damage going full out, well, if we are going to go up against the boss, if we curse the boss, we build up a frenzy charge, we build up a power charges, we drink our Stipknight and our diamond flask, we throw down the Vile Lightning Trap to shock the boss. Before the changes, we would be doing 36,000 damage per second. After the changes, 45,000. This is a 25% damage increase. It's quite a difference. So that's the one of those things. There's just so many different ways that you can actually optimize the skill layout of a build, and even when you think you've been pretty thorough, there are still ways to improve it. So shout out to Jazzy for noticing the things I missed, because it really makes a difference. 25% more damage is pretty tremendous. So, and with that, I think it's time to try another map. We're gonna go for an Oasis, where monsters have a chance to avoid status elements and some physical damage reduction. Also, let's actually put the gem away. We will be picking this one back up later. Wait, I think we might wanna slot our things first. So we're gonna get an invasion boss, we're gonna get a spirit, we're gonna get a prophecy. 72, yeah, it's all good. So we'll put in the Oasis, and there we go. So the thing that we are trading with the new setup.
Hardship is briefly quenched.
We will get prophesied invaders from beyond, so that's gonna be fun. But the thing that we are giving up right now is crit chance. If we don't have Diamond Flask up before the change, we had a 61% chance to crit. Wow. Nothing says hello like an invader boss, Kava, the Artist of Pain. But we were critting 30 or 61% of all the shots before, effectively critting. And with Diamond Flask that went up to 81%. Now we are only critting 46% chance of 46% of all the attacks. But with the Diamond Flask it goes up to 68. So in boss fights, 2/3 of the shots are still crits. So I think that's still pretty good. But the damage per shot is just going to be higher, both on average, and for the crits it's going to be even better. So the balance there is that we will have a better chance of actually critting bosses. So that's going to be pretty darn nice. So we are currently level 76. I have been running around in some of the earlier areas of Merciless. I went to the Dried Lake. I also went down to the docks for a little bit, just to run through some of the prophecies, and also just to use up some of the lower level Legacystones, the level 64 ones, which you can still use in the docks. And of course, it just gets you some nice things. I think I actually ended up completing a challenge or two just by summoning these correct kinds of ghosts and some of the correct bloodlines. I think I advanced the quest there as well. And of course all the Legacystones that drop in the level 64 area, they are usable in maps because, well, they will be usable in higher level areas. What are you? You are a berserker. I don't think I want you in my face. Here, have yourself a decoy totem. I do hear a currency dropping. What would it be? Oh, I actually got a unique drop. Oh, hello there, Planis, the Hollow Soul. And there's a demon there. Okay, Planis, be frozen for a little bit. Also, Satosh, please, bugger off. Okay. So, map boss plus beyond boss. Dealing with them rather easily. There's absolutely no risk that this is going to make me overconfident in any way, shape or form.
Beyond the goal.
And we get some boots. What boots are those? They are Lioness Pulse. Strength attacks, fire damage on attacks, 20% movement speed, reduced movement speed when on low life, increased stun and block recovery, and can't be stunned when on low life. Well, interesting, I suppose, but not for me. And I think it's also time to make our first loot run. Just so many yellow items drop, and well, of course we are still in the league to try to 5-link or 6-link our bow, and eventually want to get a 6 socket on our zodiac ladder as well. So we need all the currency we can get. But so far, so good. Let's clear things out a little bit more. So, no, even though our crit chance is now lower, even though we are playing a map that has reduced crit chance for bosses, for monsters, just almost monsters, I think we're still doing pretty well. There was a ghost here. Okay, I left it alone for too long. Okay, you are resurrecting things. I don't think I like that very much. Ooh, chisel, that's nice. And Arion, he is of course one of my favorite masters. I do like doing this mission. Okay, so we'll just set ourselves up in the corner here. It's got a pretty good overview of what the heck is happening. Just make sure that the decoy totem stays up. And this is of course the easiest one, where you just simply need to get 50 souls killed within the circle. And make sure that there's no archers trying to abuse the rules of the system. Let's hide items. Someone is trying to warp in, and indeed, that no longer worked for them. So Elrion, being level 7, does allow for respecking the mastercrafted mods on your jewelry. At level 7 you get the option to remove those. So that is actually very useful if you want to swap resists around based on a new gear. Which gets me to the point where we actually have a new belt. And it has chaos resistance. It's this one, 41 cold resist, 30 chaos resist, and mastercrafted life on it. So I had to shuffle some other resists around because I think we had some fire and cold as well on the belt before. Now it's only lightning. So that's where the level 7 Elrion really comes in, because it just allows you a little bit more flexibility with the resists on your gear. So new items are easier to slot in rather than that you just can't do anything with them. So in terms of resists, we are actually still overcapped. We are pretty massively overcapped on cold. Effectively, elemental weakness on red maps should actually keep ourselves overcapped on cold resist still. So there was no rare in sight, unfortunately. But we're finally getting a little bit of cold resist or chaos resistance, and that's something that, well, I've been pretty eager to get that. So I'm glad it's finally happening. So mostly melee mobs. That's actually a pretty decent monster type spawn here. Ooh, and Arid Lake. That's a tier 3 map that connects to this. Though it does have the Arid Lake is the map with the Roa boss where you can break the eggs to make it enraged. But it has a degen aura that does chaos damage per second. So as long as our chaos resistance is still negative, I'm actually actively trying to avoid doing maps that have chaos damage bosses. So a Roa with a chaos degen aura does make it to that list. It's also why I skipped the Jungle Valley tier 1 map, because it has, of course, has a spider boss There is the tier 3. You got quite some chaos damage from the trio at the top of the pyramid. Then the sewers has a spider boss. The grotto has a chaos elemental. That's also not really a place where you want to go. And then the arid lake is the other tier 3 map that has a boss that does chaos damage. And for the rest, all the other bosses are fine. They either do physical or some kind of elemental damage, but no chaos damage. And that's just for tiers 1, 2 and 3. I haven't actually done my homework yet on tier 4 maps, because of course I haven't really made it that far yet. But PoEDB has a pretty nice list of all the maps and the bosses of those maps, and from there you can just click through and you can just have a look at the attacks that bosses use. And from there it's actually pretty easy to discern what damage types they do and things like that. So I think we're, 7 mobs remaining. There's just one more pack lurking somewhere in the grass. Okay, this was about half a pack. Now there's 5 more mobs remaining. And that's you guys. Excellent. And that is once again a full clear. No lucky duckies. Everybody bit the dust. Or the desert sand in this regard. But that takes us to the end of this episode. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope that you learned a little bit from yet more theory crafting and a nice demonstration. We're still playing low tier maps because of course this is the Atlas for me now. This is the second tier 2 map that I have unlocked. Now of course the silent announcement of the beta for the Fall of Oriath being postponed to the end of May or early June means we have about 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks at least left in this league. So that means that as long as I manage to keep this character alive, we have, say around 30 or so maps still remaining that we can run. So if that's about 3 maps per tier, that takes us into red maps at least. So it's now up to me to stay alive and just slowly work my way through. But that's gonna be for another time. So for now I'm gonna thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.